Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Sam. This week we will continue to explore into our topic of the new economy with special focus on cryptocurrency, what it really means, how it compares with the traditional assets like gold and a normal currency, and what it matters for the future. While gold can still be mined and governments can print money, crypto introduces a fundamental shift with its finite supply and decentralized structure. So, what does that mean for individuals like us, governments, and the global economy? So, whether you're curious like me or you're already involved in crypto, this session will offer an insightful perspective in the future of currency. So, without further ado, I would now request Sam sir to address our audience. Thank you.
Thank Priyamvada. Thanks, Upendra. Just before we started, I was telling both of them that I appreciate their support. They're always on time. They work in the background and makes my job very simple and easy. They take a lot of load, but they don't get much credit. So I appreciate what they do. And without their support, it'll be difficult to have these conversations every week. Thank you all also for joining. You also really make it happen by showing your interest, your support, your commitment, your comments, and your enthusiasm. So I am indeed fortunate to have all of you. Today's topic is something I have been thinking about for quite some time and really don't quite get it or don't quite feel comfortable putting my arms around. So I thought it would be good to explore with you together. And maybe I learned something from you younger people who are more in tune with crypto than I am. But I look at crypto as part of the conversations we are having on economy, alternate economy, circular economy. We had some general conversation on economy, finance, employment, and then two of our friends, John Fullerton and Arun Myra, made it a richer conversation by adding their experience and background on serial economy, circular economy, Gandhian economy, decentralized economy, and reminded us that finance and economy has many, many dimensions. It is hard to really think on one track because it is indeed a very complex issue because ultimately it boils down to value. What do you value? Do you value trust? Do you value money? Do you value deals? Do you value relationships, environment? And what are you trying to optimize when you talk about finance? So, as a layman, we really worry about money. Somebody earns money, you spend money, you buy things, you pay rent, you buy food, you get income, you save some, you invest that, and the life goes on. So, on one hand, you have World Bank, IMF, dollar as the international currency, banks, foreign exchange reserve, foreign exchange reserve, balance of payment, debt, interest, and all kinds of parameters that really dictate what money is and what money means. And on the other hand, there are constant changes going on with this in this market that some of us don't get to understand, whether it is stock market, bond market, fluctuating interest rates, national debts. So how do you put all of these together, especially in an environment where cryptocurrency and AI both will change the financial systems, the financial environment? I'll give you one example. In 80s, when I used to work with Rajiv Gandhi, I had a friend who used to work for the World Bank in Delhi, and we used to have on and off discussions. And once he had a visitor from US and he got me to meet him. And the gentleman said, "Look, India is broke. You don't have much foreign exchange reserve. And why are we not allowing foreign investments at that time?" Of course, the mood at that time in the Planning Commission and in the government was very different. We had not really arrived at privatizing a lot of our business. Some of us felt it was too early. Some of us felt it was too late. So the fellow says, "You as a nation are completely broke." And I felt insulted. I said, "What do you mean we are broke? We have Taj Mahal, we have all these temples, we have, so much asset, art, culture. Why don't you value that? If I put my Taj Mahal or one of the temples or one of the, you know, caves where there is so much art on global market, I can raise 10 billion. So why are you telling me I have only 1 billion? He said, no, no, that doesn't count. We measure the value of the country only based on the bank balance you have. I said, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense to me. And we had a long argument. The bottom line was, what do we value? Do you really value all my physical assets? Or you just value what I have in the bank? So these are many of the questions that we all have been trying to grapple with. And then comes this new world of crypto. It has been around for a while now. When it was introduced, I got very interested in it, mainly because of technology, and couldn't really understand that well. So the idea is that someone came up with an algorithm to mine and kept the limited supply to 21 million. And it takes a lot of energy and algorithms and computation to mine. And you mine a token, which is called a Bitcoin. In early days, it used to be few cents. I remember in early days, somebody bought a pizza with 10 or 12 Bitcoins or something like that. The value of this token, which is put in a general ledger, more as blockchain, so you can see all the transactions It is simple accounting. You keep posting transactions as they happen, and the value of this token keeps changing based on supply and demand. But you cannot print any more than 21 million. And that's a fundamental difference between physical note or money, dollar bill that US government can print as much as they want, or some other countries can print based on whatever rules and regulations are set up by international community. And printing money is a very complex process, very, very complex. I went to a German mint, and the kind of security and infrastructure required, because they print money for almost everybody in the world. And how they print, how they ship, how they log has been around for a long time. But with crypto, all of that changes. So you have what people call Bitcoin. The idea is you go to a bank or wherever you can get Bitcoin or a machine, you deposit your money, and then you get a token. On your computer, you open a wallet, and that money can be sent to anybody in the world who has similar wallet or what, and they can cash that at certain known authorized dealers. This idea sounded very interesting to people who use a lot of black money, a lot of illegal money, because to send money through bank at times is a project. I send fair amount of money abroad here and there for small needs, and the amount of hassle you have to go through in sending money. Now it is little simple because you can get your wallet on mobile phone, but still the forms to be filled, and it takes 5 to 7 days to get money across from here to India or here to Africa or here to Europe. Best would be 3 days, worst case would be 7 days. But Bitcoin can give you instantly. In microseconds, you have your money reached out to the party, and then that party can either cash it or hold it or whatever. So that aspect made it very interesting because you can bypass the existing banking system. And earlier, nobody paid much attention because the volume was very little. All of a sudden, the volume increased substantially. Value of Bitcoin went to 50,000, 70,000, 100,000, 110,000. And billions got into the system. And then governments woke up and said, oh, we need some kind of regulation. Who are these people? How are they transferring money? How much money they are transferring? Who owns what? Because banking sector is highly regulated. Even though it is regulated, it requires transparency. Big rackets go on. I mean, some of these rackets are unreal. And nobody gets penalized, believe me. If a little guy didn't pay his tax or did something wrong, he'll probably go to prison. When these big banks do big transactions which are illegal, they get fined. And some people will pay 5 billion fine. I mean, if you pay $5 billion in fine, your racket must be at least 50 billion. and nobody goes to jail because this is the system of the rich and privileged. So, to many people, electronic money, cryptocurrency, interests because they can bypass this system. Now, recently, you hear a lot about stablecoin, where you create a crypto token which is tied to a dollar bill or a rupee bill or a pound or euro or Chinese or Japanese yen or whatever. This is an interesting idea. And I had worked on this maybe 20, 25 years ago. And I used to show around to my friends a digital currency printed on phone. But you couldn't scale it because you didn't have the muscles to scale. Now, people deposit their money with the bank or the agency, company, and download stable coin on their phone. So let's say I have $1 million. I pay $1 million and then I have $1 million on my phone that I can send wherever I want to send, do whatever business I want to do. But I don't get interest on that $1 million. The company that is giving me stable coin gets the interest. And guess what? There is a company called Tether, which earned last year $13.7 billion in interest, which is profit, not interest, just profit, because people bought $200 billion worth of stable coins from them. I mean, it is ridiculous. The numbers are just mind-boggling. And it just happened in the last few years. Circle is another company, which is probably number two. Their profit is 150 million just from interest. But you could make billions and billions for people's money by issuing them electronic token. And I'm sure there are a lot of legal issues in how they move money, who gets it, and all. So US government woke up and decided to create a new bill, because people started giving a lot of importance to Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. El Salvador decided that they will use that as their national currency. And people bet on it, people work on gambling, and all kinds of things happen in this system. So US government recently decided to come up with an act to control some of it. It's too early. They've given some 3-year grace period and 2-year grace period for something. So a lot of things can be done in this grace period to fix things. It's called Genius Act. And now, because of interest from President Trump, cryptos are getting global attention. Pakistan is into crypto now in a big way. I'm told that President Trump's and their associates have been to Pakistan to discuss this. I don't know the details. I just read here and there. Okay. And many countries are looking at cryptos as an alternative. And then comes AI, which further complicates the financial system. AI agent designed just to control your or manage your money. Ultimately, through algorithm can decide what to buy and what to sell. They will have the intelligence. On the market, they can decide on the loans, they can decide on credit, and as a result, they can really control, as millions of AI agents, money supply. I mean, this is pretty complicated. That money supply of the world would be controlled by machines and not by Fed and not by big bankers. Machines will decide how much to borrow, where to borrow, what interest rates. What does all of this thing mean to the European Central Bank, to the Federal Reserve, to Reserve Bank of India? These are very complex questions. So financial systems have been made so complex now that people who extract value get more out of it than people who create value. Now, this is a very interesting way to look at it from my perspective. You work hard, you work in the farm, you work to build roads, you work to, you know, provide health services, and you earn money and you have created value. Then once you have created value, somebody else takes your money in the bank and extracts value from them. A classical example would be all those investment people who said, I charge 2% management fee. You give me $1 billion, $500 million to manage. Then I will take profit over a hurdle of 8% return. In a sense, I will take no risk of my own, but I'll get all the rewards. Risk is yours, rewards are mine, and yours also. So you have more sophisticated people who spend their time and energy in extracting value than creating value. Many times, a lot of these bright students, when they go to investment bank, engineers, scientists, PhDs, it's great for them because they make a lot of money. But it bothers me that here is a person who could create value is now focused on extracting value. Of course, it is creating value for a personal gain, which is fine. So once you get into the crypto, you will see more and more talented people extracting value than creating value. So in economy, this whole business of cryptocurrency is going to play a very important role going forward. And AI is going to play even more important role. People don't realize that AI will create money supply. And when you have a machine creating money supply, what are the implications? AI will dictate the interest rates. So I think it is important to understand the future of money, the future of financial systems. It's not easy to understand. I don't understand it. But I get fascinated with what is going on and how it is manipulated by a handful of people who are experts at extracting value. I mean, the fact that US dollar is a dominant currency in the world is the best example of extracting value. US is very worried about BRICS currency because then the extracting value will reduce, and somebody else will have ability to extract value as well. So the power comes from profits, and profits come from power. And as a result, you see in the world today, people with profit and power have come together because they realize they need each other. If there is no power, you cannot decide the policies to assure your profits. And if you don't have profits, you can't put people of your choice in power. And this is all considered great game today in the world. With great respect, people talk about winning elections and people talk about, controlling votes and banks and money, and it just doesn't make sense many times. But then when you talk against this architecture, you are seen as lunatic, you are seen as enemy, you are seen as someone who don't understand it. I was just looking at something about the mayoral candidate in New York, and I heard some comments that people think he's communist.
Hmm.
What kind of labels you are giving to people just because you think differently? So in financial system also, if you think differently, if you talk against the established system, you are an enemy of the system and not a thinker who is thinking different. So the crypto is here. People want to risk, people get rewards, people want to manipulate. New rules and regulations will be created by people in power to guard their profits, and more stable coins will be created in the world. AI will begin to drive money supply, and average person will still be confused, and he will go on creating value, and the rich and famous will go on extracting value. That's the fight that's going on today, and will probably go on for quite some time. So this is one view. Not that I have answers, but I thought it'll be good to talk about this. So with this much of intro, I don't know how much time I took, but we can now open up for a conversation. Let me see. Oh, I already took 30 minutes almost. Okay.
Yeah. Mm. Okay,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you, sir. Very informative. So we have first comment from Bhanu Pratap. He's saying, crypto is it like gambling, like and should it be encouraged?
Well, stable coin is probably not gambling, but Bitcoin maybe, because the value keeps fluctuating. In stable coin, I know that I bought, $100 worth of crypto and it remains $100. Okay. But if I buy Bitcoin, I don't know that $100 is going to be 100 today or 110 or 80 or 90. It depends. Yep.
Sir, like we had the barter system earlier, now then it was replaced by the currency system. So do you think that the crypto will like eventually replace what we have? As you said that it will attack on the value, creating value. Like will it affect on that? And do you think it is like the future currency of the future?
Well, I don't think there is one currency of the future. Okay. There'll be multiple. It would be nice to have a global currency. Believe me, I personally believe that time has come for world. But how do you do that? How do you decide what is the value of Zimbabwe? You can't decide based on bank balance. You have to decide based on their minerals and their gold and their mines. And how do you do that? Somebody would say, well, Orissa is poor. I was born in Orissa. I know Orissa is not poor. You look at the lush jungles in Orissa. You look at the minerals in Orissa. Okay, you look at bauxite and you name it, and you say, what a rich state it is. Okay, but it's still all underground. Well, that's good because you haven't mined it yet. Okay, if you mine it, it'll be gone. Okay, so it depends on how you value and what you value. Okay, right in your backyard, you could have bauxite mine, okay, worth maybe 5 billion, and you don't even know, you don't value it. You walk on it, you play cricket on it, and it's okay. But on whose balance sheet is that? Who says we own this as a community? Okay. So it's very complicated. The whole thing needs new thinking. You need completely new thinking in the financial system. I mean, I was in San Francisco last year and we were just driving around with my family, kids and all. And I see all these homes. And each home is 5 million bucks. Okay. So I said, let me go to Google and try to learn a little bit. And I started exploring the values of homes in America, the asset. So many homes, average home is this price, and you can do all that just to get an idea. And then you realize that every year so many people die. So those homes get transferred to their kids. I mean, on which balance sheet all this information is? Okay. America may have, few $1 trillion worth of homes. Same with India. This is just homes. You take football fields, you take parks, you take mines. Where is the value of all of this? You know, but we only look at what is in the bank. Okay. I may have $100,000 in the bank, but I may live in a $2 million home. Okay. So is my worth only 100,000? Is $2 million home paid? Not paid? How much loan I have on it? So all kinds of things get complicated. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. And it's a new concept, so many people aren't aware. So there's a question from Kiran Kumar.
Uh-huh.
He's asking, what is the guarantee for crypto? Like we have a guarantee for physical money or gold.
Well, guarantee for crypto is where you buy your crypto. If you buy from, let's say, the company Tether, $100 worth of crypto, which is, sort of fixed value. Okay. Then you can go and deposit your $100 crypto and they'll give you $100 because that's the guarantee. That's a contract you sign with them. Okay. That's the stable coin. But if you own Bitcoin, you bought it for 100 and whatever you want to cash that day, you'll be told what is the value. It could be 110, so you made $10 profit. It may be 90, so you made $10 loss.
So just in layman terms, so first you'll have to pay for the crypto for that currency with the actual like a dollar or a rupee.
Oh yeah, nobody's going to give you free.
No, I mean it's just like you don't like barter cryptos. Like the initial
No,
transaction should be your.
you got to put money to get crypto. Okay. Like I said, you go to a crypto machine and put $100 and it'll give you a token. Okay. You can go to a certain banks who do crypto business, they will give you crypto. Okay. It's a different kind of a note, you know.
Absolutely. So, there is a question from Rakesh. So he's just like commenting, if central banks make decision to use blockchain technology in banking system, it expedites the international transactions and it's also secured. So will they do it, and what are the possibilities of it?
Central bank might do it. They are looking at it in many countries. Okay. And we don't know how it's going to unfold yet. But I just give you some examples. Let me just crazy, but I just thought of it. Okay. See, these are all the notes I have. Okay.
Hmm.
Which are 500 rupees bill, no, 100 rupees bill and all, which are obsolete. Okay. Because of the new rules. I couldn't go to India
Hmm.
and I have lakhs of rupees because every time I came back from travel to India, I put it in a box, hoping that I'll take it next time and I forget to take it. Okay. There's no black money or anything. Okay.
Hmm.
Just that, I came home and I had 700 rupees left. I put it in a box saying, next time I go, I'll take this 700 and I don't ever take it. So that's one pile. Then there is a pile of money from 50 different countries that I have,
Hmm.
okay, that I have traveled all over. Okay. There's some more rupees. I didn't realize these are all rupees. Oh, these are 1,000 rupees and all. But these are all the different countries. Okay. I have money from Chinese, where this money is in
Hmm.
1980s when I went to China. Okay. Then I have money from Russia from 1980s, you know, which are some notes are like a postage stamp. Okay. And this is the world that we live in. Okay. Some notes are little, some notes are big. Okay. And what we need ultimately is some kind of standardization. Okay. But who's going to do it? Okay. Why would anybody do it? Okay. Now, what is the sense in having money in a small little country, where there are few people? Okay. 5 million people and they have their own currency. And look at these little currencies. Okay. So ultimately, people want to convert it into dollars or euros or Chinese money. Can we decide a new global currency which is pegged to 5 or 7 currencies? A basket of currencies: dollar, euro, yuan, rupee, yen, or whatever. You decide. Okay. And say this basket of currency, based on how it changes, will dictate the price of that global dollar. And you trade in global dollars and everybody just keeps global dollars for whatever. And life would be simple and you don't have to print all this crazy stuff. This is the legacy of the past. Are we going to keep this legacy going? So I have all this money. One of these days, I'm going I'm going to do a big painting,
Hmm.
a big canvas where I'll cut these notes, okay, and do a big collage. That's my goal. But I haven't had time. Okay. But look at the amount of money. Okay. Because it is too complicated. I went to um, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, uh, and then bought some money back. What do we do with it anymore until I go there next? And when I go there next, I'm not going to remember to take this money with me. You know, and there are millions of people doing this, not me. I'm just an example. Okay, there are millions of people in the world traveling, collecting this kind of junk, which is not in circulation. Okay, Now, how do you value this? If there are in this world 50 million people and millions, billions travel, but let's say 50 million people have $1,000 of change in different currencies at home. That's $50 billion. Okay. Now you use that $50 billion to build something in developing world. It's sitting idle. Where is this money? How is it counted? Nobody knows. Okay. So sorry about this. I just thought of it because I'm sitting here and I know the money is somewhere in my
No,
desk.
sir, that is actually an interesting idea, to make a big, like a painting and a collage.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because
going to do. What else I do with it? You
yeah,
know, see,
that's what the case with so many people, with the demonetization in India. Those who could convert their money, they were fortunate, but those who couldn't, like, the money is now like
worthless.
not worthless. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another question is, so what do you think makes the crypto attractive? Like, it's gaining so much of a popularity among the West and
The
even
two types
the
of
US.
people. Yeah, two types of people. One who expect value of Bitcoin to appreciate. So there are people who are betting that today it is $70,000 and maybe in 5 years it will be 140,000. That's one group of people. It's like buying gold. You put it in a safe deposit vault and the price of gold will go up. Second group of people are all those people who do black market dealing. A lot of cash still floats around in the world. Okay. Huge amount of transactions go on in Middle East and London and US and everywhere, Latin America. Uh, where do you think all the drug money goes in the system? How does it go? You know, Billions of dollars of drug money go in the system. And for them, crypto is a great thing, okay, because it doesn't go through the normal channel of banking. And that's why the regulation, okay. So I think there are two types of people. One who want to hedge, um, two people who need global transaction, easy, simple, um, unregulated, unaccounted. You know. So
As we know that there is a audit trail for the normal currency. Like, suppose if anyone, as you said, like there's drug dealings, there's some, dealings about black money. So the normal currency we can have a audit trail, but for cryptocurrency it is very difficult. So how can the governments and the regulators will overcome this issue if
that's what the regulation is all about. That if there is suspicious transaction, government can ask the crypto company to track that transaction. Who is the originator? Which wallet introduced it or initiated it? Which wallet got it? How many of these transactions have gone by? If it is 10, 20, 50, $100, $1,000, nobody will care. If it is millions and millions happening regularly, they would care. Okay.
Absolutely. So can you, there's just a question. Can you explain, like, for a layman about what's blockchain basically? What is
Very
blockchain?
simple. Very simple. Okay. See, every time I conduct a transaction, I log it in my book that I bought shoes for $100. Okay. Blockchain is that transaction would be logged in a public ledger. So there'll be one big ledger, which will be public ledger where everybody's transaction would be logged. Who did what, but you can't identify me. Ultimately, you could if you want. Okay. So blockchain is a chain of transactions where all transactions are connected. Okay. So there could be blockchain for voting, there could be blockchain for purchasing, there could be blockchain for loans, there could be blockchain for anything. It is just a ledger. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. There's a question from Sair. I'll just put it on the screen. So, won't the global currency need a new global bank and maybe some sort of a new global governance, as you talk about in redesigning of the world? Don't you have any such solution?
Solutions are there, but who's going to listen to me? Who am I? They don't give a damn. You know, if I'm not rich and powerful, why should anybody pay attention? Okay, that's the world we live in. Okay,
But don't you think, sir, there will be there is a requirement then for a global bank, which if we
doesn't have
replace.
to be because the existing banks could be converted into it. You don't need new staff and new bank. You take the existing banks and say, look, uh, you are going to issue global currency. Federal Reserve will, rather than dollar, will issue global dollar or blue dollar. Today it's a green dollar. Tomorrow it could be a blue dollar or multicolored dollar with multiple countries joining hands. You see, I firmly believe I'm giving a big talk on 8th of July in Dominican Republic. It is a keynote speech I'm invited to give on AI. And I'm going to talk about some of these things uh, because you cannot see AI or cryptocurrency with the old paradigm. You've got to look at a new paradigm. A new paradigm will require some kind of global constitution. New paradigm will require some kind of global currency. When will it happen? How it will happen? I don't know. The other day I was talking to a very close friend of mine, Shiban Ganju. He's a very dear friend of mine from Chicago, who was a medical doctor, went to, now he's in New York. And two of us were talking about what is happening all over the world and say, we feel depressed. Maybe we are crazy. Maybe we don't understand. We are old timers. So Shiban said, look, Sam, look at the bright side of it.
Hmm.
I said, is there a bright side? I don't see any bright side. He said, yeah, there is a bright side. He said, by the time the real mess will be created, you and I won't be around.
Hmm.
That's the only bright side, he said, I see. The point is, mess is being created. Okay. World is in a mess. Okay. For all kinds of reasons. You have wars going on. You have, leaders who don't have any high moral grounds. Uh, Poverty is not being addressed. Hunger is not being tackled. Violence goes on increasing. Uh, Environmental blunders continue. Okay. So until you really pay attention to these things, my grandchildren are going to pay for it. Okay. That's what bothers me. But then, who am I? I can talk to a few friends and, get excited, but nobody gives a damn. So I talk at global platforms. I'm going to go to this platform I told you because a friend of mine used to be president of Dominican Republic. So he invited me. But then how many people will listen and what will happen? You know, and that's why these conversations are very important because you guys, young people, will be around to fight the battle. That's why I like to talk to you all. Okay, maybe I make sense to some and maybe I don't make sense to some, which is okay. Some may think Sam is a crazy guy. You know, but you are going to define the future. You know,
Thank you, sir. You're very kind enough, and we wish you very, very good health. So that's beyond it. But, sir, just as you mentioned with the wars, just before we end this our show, as you mentioned, the world is like in wars and with crypto around, with AI. How do you see the future? Like, do you think the technology basically uh, internet and the technology will take over the world, and will it be a big mess, or do you think we have a way out?
no,
And
I
we
don't think technology to me is a tool. It depends on how we use that tool. I always say knife is a classical example. You can cut fruits and you can kill somebody. Some will abuse technology, some will use technology. It is never black and white. The question is, people of the world will have to decide what kind of a world we want to build. Do we want to build a world for few rich and famous and powerful, where wealth is more concentrated? Billionaires have become now multi-billionaires and multi-billionaires become trillionaires. Is that the path we want to take? Where pretty soon we'll celebrate and say, oh, this is a trillionaire. And we'll have a list of trillionaires. When I saw for the first time in the US list of richest people in 70s, I was a young guy, didn't know enough. And somebody brought to my attention from Fortune magazine list of richest people in America. And I must tell you that the 400th guy was about 100 million. And I said, oh my God, how rich these people are. Today, if you don't have a billion, you're not even in 5,000. Forget about, 400. So wealth has really concentrated and poverty has increased. So your generation will have to decide, do you want equitable wealth distribution? But then they'll call you communist. Okay. If you want to help poor, you're on the wrong side. If you want to help rich, you're on the right side. Okay. If you want to improve environment, you're on the wrong side. If you want to mess up environment and make more money, you're great. So what you value has changed. I mean, look at the amount of money world spends in signing legal contracts. If I want to give somebody $10,000, it costs me $1,000 of in legal contract. Maybe I can trust the guy, nah. I don't need a contract. I don't even need a piece of paper. If you say, look, Premvada, I gave you 10,000, you'll give me back, it's okay. But the trust is gone. So we got to get lawyers involved, accountants involved. We got to do all the documentation, 4 copies of it, and you got to sign it. I got to sign it, notarize, put it in a locker, and all this bogus stuff because there is no trust. So we have lost trust, and financial transaction is all about trust. Okay, if you give somebody $5, you don't ask for a legal contract. Yeah, when do you ask for a legal contract? If it is 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000. Okay, you got to decide that, saying when do I break my trust? I give you another interesting example. And sorry for this little interruption. When I was chairman Telecom Commission, I had a guy who come to me, and he was an agent of somebody. He said, Mr. Pitroda, if you sign that file which is sitting there on top of your pile, we will give you $500,000 anywhere in the world. So I said, look, I'm impressed that you know that that's the file. That means you must have somebody in my office who did this for you. Second, I want you to know I'm not a very honest guy. So you come to the right guy. So he got very interested. He said, yes, yes, sir, sir. We can get it, in America or wherever. I said, the only problem is 500,000 is too little. 500 million, maybe I'll change my mind. Okay. So the point is, when do you break trust? Okay. I was joking with him. Okay. But I wanted him to know that trust is very important. Okay. And we have lost trust in people. We have lost trust in institutions. And financial transaction is all about trust. When your dad gives you money for tuition, he doesn't ask you for a loan agreement that you will return this money when you make a lot of money. No, it's a trust. Now, is it trust because you are related? Is it trust because you are good? Or is it trust because that's a tradition? But trust is very important. Okay. If you don't build trust, it's very difficult to have a relationship. And trust can be a very dangerous thing at times. People do break trust. People take advantage of the situation. People can get you into trouble. Somebody who you trust so much can flip for all kinds of reasons. Some under their control, some under not their control. When they flip, they can ruin your life. It's possible. Okay. So in this world, you have to be very careful. And that's why you trust your relatives, you trust your children, you trust your gene. And whenever there's an outside entry, it is very difficult to trust because the world is very cruel. You know,
Absolutely, sir. Very interesting take on the trust. Like, where do you break the trust? That's the core part. And if you have more people, trusting each other, loving each other, then that would be a
absolutely,
perfect world.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So,
you got to take some risk in life. Also, you got to believe some people. Another example I'll give you. These are the things that
mm,
make it very simple to understand. You know, I don't go shopping at all, but I'll go with my wife and she'll shop and I'll wait outside in the car or read newspaper or something. So once we were in Delhi many years ago, maybe 35, 40 years ago, and she wanted to go shopping. So I went with her. I was driving and I found a parking. So I parked there and she didn't show up for a while. So I had nothing else to do. I just saw a store somewhere and I climbed a little bit and go into the store. And I had nothing else to do. So I said, do you have white shirt, cotton? He said, yeah.
hmm,
I find some cotton shirts and how much, 500 rupees or whatever it was. So I bought 3 white shirts. And then again took a bag and I was waiting outside. My wife showed up after her shopping. And she said, what did you buy? Because I never buy anything. She buys everything for me, including socks and shirts and everything. So I said, I bought what shirt? She looked at it. She said, oh, how much you paid? I said, 500. She said, the same shirt was available for 300 where I went. So she goes to the shop guy and said, look, I saw the same shirt for 300 rupees, 2 shops away. And why did you charge this man 500 rupees? And the guy was confused. He didn't know what to do. Okay. So he said, madam, it may be different quality, this, that, and all. And they were arguing. So I told this guy, I said, look, fellow, relax. If you don't cheat me, who would you cheat? I said, okay. I look like somebody you can cheat. It's okay. So let her speak her word. And then you say sorry and we'll settle this issue. Okay. The point is, people see an opportunity. And he saw that this guy is not going to argue much. So charge him 500. If somebody had asked for 300, he would have probably given for 300. That's the way he does business. Okay, it's not his fault, poor guy. You know, he saw that he could cheat this guy. Let's try it, because he's trying to optimize profit. Okay, so values matter. That's the point I'm making. Okay.
Absolutely, sir. Values do matter, and we have so many like our viewers commenting that this was an interesting show and they love you. Anup is saying, Anup Hivale is saying, we love you, sir, and
Thank you,
you
Anup.
should speak. And yeah, so this was a very interesting topic today for many of our viewers, and we hope we'll continue to have such engaging conversations. And we wish you very well, sir, with all your good health and
Thank you. Thank you.
we
Well, I'm
seek your
around for a while.
guidance.
I'm
Yeah, no,
around for a
sir.
while. I don't know how long.
We seek your guidance always. So, and
I
we are
tell you,
very
I enjoy
fortunate.
talking to you all. I
Yes,
think
sir.
I sincerely believe you're all good people. I love you all. And, you will make a difference. Believe me. That's why, I talk to you, because I think I see hope in you all. Okay. You're going to make the new world. Okay. And the fact that you take time to spend an hour every week itself says something about you. Okay. That you want
Thank
to
you.
learn, you want to participate, you want to engage, you want to be involved. And that's what we need. You know, you need more conversations like this to enlighten ourselves. And nobody's right about everything. I don't know everything. I have no idea. But that doesn't stop me from talking, and I can make mistakes. I'm entitled to. I'll apologize. I'll feel sorry. I might insult somebody in the process, not by intention, but by mistake. But I love everybody. Anup, I know very well, and Anup is a great guy, and I love Anup. Anup has a wonderful daughter, and I wish I could spend more time with her. She and I talked a couple of times. She's a great kid, you know, but my problem is time. I wish I had more time. Okay.
Okay. On that note, sir, thank you very much,
Thank you,
and
and we'll
we'll
see you.
meet.
Thanks, Upendra. You are always quiet, Upendra.
Yeah. So
You
I
must be
think Upendra has left now. He has
okay.
to catch a flight. Yeah.
Okay, I
So
better keep my money somewhere so I can find it again.
yes, sir. So we'll meet next
Yeah.
week, and thank you everyone for
Thank
joining.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.